Have you ever wondered why some men are unforgettable while others fade into the background? Why is it that the guy who barely tries, who seems like he couldn't care less, ends up being the one women obsess over? Meanwhile, the guy who's always available, always showing interest, and always making an effort gets ignored? It doesn't seem fair, but that's exactly how attraction works. Most men think making a woman miss them is about staying in her life. Texting her, reminding her of how great they are, making sure she knows they're still around. But that's not how it works. A woman doesn't miss what she already has access to. She misses what she can't have. The more you try to stay on her radar, the less reason she has to think about you. Now, let's talk about where men go wrong. There are two major mistakes that kill a woman's ability to miss you, and if you're making these, you're pushing her further away without even realizing it. The first mistake: over-pursuing. A lot of men think the key to making a woman miss them is to stay in constant contact. They text good morning, check in during the day, reply to every message instantly, and always say yes to making plans. They think that if they're always there, she'll appreciate them more. But that's not how human nature works. People don't crave what they already have. They crave what's slipping away. If you're always one text away, always available, and always eager to engage, she has no reason to wonder about you. No reason to check her phone hoping you texted. No reason to feel your absence. You're making yourself too predictable, and predictability kills attraction. The second mistake? Trying to force an emotional reaction. Some guys take the complete opposite approach and think that by ignoring a woman or playing mind games, they'll make her miss them. They'll wait hours or even days to reply just to seem busy, or they'll purposely post things online to make her jealous. But here's the thing. When you try too hard to manipulate her emotions, she sees right through it. And instead of making her miss you, you just make her roll her eyes and move on. Real attraction isn't about tricking someone into wanting you. It's about making them feel like they're losing something valuable. That doesn't happen through forced jealousy or calculated silence. It happens when she realizes you're a man who has options, who isn't waiting around for her, and who moves with purpose. If you want to make a woman miss you, even if she isn't interested right now, the key is not to chase her. It's to create space, to show her through your actions, not through games, that you're not just another guy waiting for her attention. The less available you are, the more she'll start to wonder where you went. And the moment she starts wondering, that's when she starts missing you. Now, let's get into 5 psychological triggers to make any woman miss you, even if she wasn't interested at first. The first thing you'd want to do when trying to make a woman miss you is to stop being so available. Most men think that the more they show up in a woman's life, the more she'll start to appreciate them. But the truth is, the easier you are to access, the less valuable you become. Think about it. Do people crave air? No, because it's always there. But take air away for just a few minutes, and suddenly, it's the most important thing in the world. That's exactly how attraction works. A woman can't miss you if she always knows where you are, what you're doing, and that she can have your attention whenever she wants. Men make the mistake of always being the first to text, always saying yes to last-minute plans, and always making time for a woman, no matter what. And at first, it might seem like a good idea. After all, shouldn't a woman appreciate a man who's consistent? The answer is no. If you're too predictable, you become boring. Women are drawn to men who have something going on in their lives. If you're always available, it signals to her that you have nothing else happening. No passions, no purpose, no real direction. And if you don't have those things, why should she see you as a high-value man? Let's say there's a guy named Jake. Jake really likes this woman, so every time she texts, he replies immediately. If she asks to hang out, he drops everything. If she cancels last minute, he reschedules without hesitation. He thinks he's showing how much he cares, but in reality, he's training her to take him for granted. She knows he'll always be there, so there's no urgency, no excitement, no reason to think about him when he's not around. Now, imagine another guy, Ryan. Ryan is focused on his goals. He's busy, he has things to do, and while he likes this woman, he's not adjusting his life for her at the drop of a hat. When she texts, he doesn't always reply right away. Sometimes he's genuinely busy. Sometimes he's just not in a rush. When she asks to hang out, he makes plans, but on his time, not whenever she decides. Because of this, she starts to wonder about him. Why isn't he always available? What is he doing? Who is he with? She starts to think about him, even when he's not around, and that's when she starts to miss him. This is how scarcity creates value. When something isn't always available, people start to want it more. If you want a woman to miss you, stop being too easy to reach, too easy to get, and too predictable. She needs to feel like she could lose you, because the moment she does, you become worth chasing. The second step you need to take to make a woman miss you is use silence to your advantage. Most men think the best way to stay on a woman's mind is by constantly reminding her they exist, texting her, checking in, or finding excuses to talk. But the reality is, nothing makes a woman think about you more than your absence. When you stop initiating contact, when you pull back and create space, a psychological shift happens. She starts to notice that something is missing. And that's the key. She can't miss what's always there. If you're constantly available, always the first to reach out, she won't have the chance to feel your absence. The mistake most men make is panicking when a woman starts to lose interest. Instead of staying calm, they start texting more, liking her posts, and trying to force a connection. But the more they push, the less she feels anything. Attraction isn't built through pressure, it's built through space. A man might notice a woman isn't texting as much as she used to. Instead of reacting emotionally, he does something different. He stops chasing. He doesn't text her first. He takes longer to reply. He lets her feel the silence. At first, she might not think much of it, but as time passes, she starts wondering, why isn't he reaching out? Is he losing interest? And just like that, he's back on her mind. Most men are terrified of silence. They think if they stop reaching out, she'll forget about them. But here's the truth. If a woman is even slightly interested, she won't forget you. She'll start missing you because she'll notice the change. This works because it taps into something powerful, uncertainty. When a woman is 100% sure of your interest, there's no excitement, no curiosity, no emotional pull. But when she suddenly isn't sure where you stand, her emotions get involved. She starts thinking about you, wondering if she did something wrong, and feeling a sense of loss. Now, here's where most men fail. They break the silence too soon. They hold back for a day or two, then get impatient and start reaching out again. That ruins the effect. You have to give her time to notice your absence. Let her sit with it. If she's interested, she'll reach out. If she doesn't, that tells you everything you need to know. A man who understands this doesn't fear silence. He uses it as a tool. He knows that by pulling back, he's creating space for her to feel something. And when she starts to feel that absence, she'll start craving his presence again. This doesn't mean ignoring her completely or playing games. It means having the discipline to hold back and let her come to you. The moment she realizes you're not desperate for her attention, she'll start craving it. And that's when she'll start missing you. The next psychological trigger to make a woman miss you is to make her compete. Women want what others desire, and if she feels like she's the only one interested in you, she won't value your attention as much. But the moment she senses that other women see you as a catch, something changes. She starts to feel competitive. Most men make the mistake of putting all their focus on one woman, acting as if she's their only option. This is where they go wrong. When a woman knows she has you without effort, she won't feel the need to chase. But when she senses that other women find you attractive, that you have options, she suddenly starts to see you differently. This is a psychological trigger. People naturally want what others want. Think about it. When you see a long line outside a restaurant, you assume the food must be amazing. When something is in high demand, its value increases. Women operate the same way. If she feels like she has to win your attention, it becomes more meaningful. The key here isn't to play games or make her jealous in an obvious way. It's about having a social presence that naturally makes women notice you. You don't need to tell her you have options. She should see it. The way you carry yourself, the way other women respond to you, and the way you engage socially should all signal that you are a man in demand. Men who lack options tend to act needy, always trying to prove their worth. But a man who knows he's valuable doesn't need to chase. He lets women come to him. And when a woman feels like she's competing, she invests more. She puts in effort. She starts to feel that if she doesn't, someone else will. Now let's talk about how to make this happen naturally. The first thing is your social presence. Who are you when you're not around her? If you're constantly waiting by the phone, hoping she texts, she's not going to feel that competitive spark. But if she sees you out enjoying life, surrounded by people, engaging with other women, she starts to feel the shift. Another thing is your mindset. A man who knows he's in demand doesn't act desperate. He doesn't over-explain himself or seek validation. He lets his actions speak. He carries himself with quiet confidence, knowing that if one woman doesn't see his value, another will. Lastly, there's mystery. If a woman feels like she already knows everything about you, she won't feel the need to chase. But if you're unpredictable, if you have layers she hasn't uncovered yet, she stays intrigued. That curiosity is what makes her want more. So, stop making one woman the center of your world. Start focusing on yourself, your life, and your own value. When a woman sees that she has to earn your attention, she won't just miss you. She'll fight for you. And that's the position you want to be in. The fourth step I'm going to talk about is give her an emotional high, then step back. If you're not triggering emotions, you're forgettable. Women don't miss men who make them feel nothing. They miss the ones who make them feel something powerful. And here's where most men fail. They are too predictable, too flat, too nice. They think being consistently available, constantly showering her with attention, and always being agreeable will make her appreciate them. But that's not how attraction works. Wake up. Women don't miss men who are always there, waiting, hoping, and trying too hard. They miss the ones who give them an unforgettable experience, then pull away. If every interaction with you feels the same, with no excitement or tension, why would she crave more? The key is simple. Create an emotional peak and then step back. Make her laugh, challenge her, have deep conversations, tease her, make her feel something real, and then disappear for a while. Let her sit with those emotions. Let her wonder why you aren't around. Men who are always present, always responding immediately, and always giving without any push and pull kill attraction. Women don't sit around missing guys like that. They might appreciate them, but they don't crave them. There's no emotional contrast. Think about this. When was the last time you missed something that was always there? Exactly. It's when something is taken away that you start to notice how much you want it back. But here's the problem. Most men can't handle this. The moment they start to pull away, they panic. They think, what if she forgets about me? What if she moves on? And in that panic, they break the silence too soon. They text first, they try to check in, and they ruin everything. They don't give her enough time to feel the loss. Instead of letting her sit with the emotions and miss them, they rush back in, desperate for reassurance. And just like that, all the attraction dies. You need to understand that emotions create memory. If a woman associates you with excitement, passion, challenge, and even a little bit of mystery, she won't be able to stop thinking about you. But if she associates you with predictability, over-availability, and a lack of emotional contrast, she won't feel anything when you're gone. This is why it's so important to control your presence. When you're with her, be fully engaged. Be the most interesting, confident, and unpredictable version of yourself. Then, when she's completely enjoying your company, disappear. Not forever, not in a way that makes her think you've lost interest, but just enough to create that contrast. Now here's where most guys mess up. They ghost instead of creating space. There's a difference between disappearing with purpose and completely vanishing with no explanation. You're not trying to make her think you're ignoring her. You're making her feel the absence of your presence, so she starts craving it again. So stop being predictable. Stop giving too much too soon. Start making her feel something. Then pull away and let her emotions do the work. That's how you make a woman truly crave you. The fifth thing you need to do to make a woman miss you is upgrade your life. Because attraction starts with you. Most men make the mistake of obsessing over how to get a woman to think about them. But the truth is, a woman will only miss you if she sees you as someone valuable, someone worth missing. If your life is stagnant, if you're not growing, if you're the same guy you were last year, why would she feel like she's losing something special when you're not around? Too many men put women on a pedestal while neglecting themselves. They focus on how to impress her, how to keep her attention, how to make her feel a certain way, without ever stopping to ask, am I actually the kind of man who naturally creates desire? If you're not evolving, if you're not pushing yourself to be better, you're making yourself easy to forget. A woman can't miss what doesn't stand out. And what stands out is a man who is constantly improving, who has a sense of purpose, who isn't just sitting around waiting for her to validate him. This is why men who are busy chasing their goals, leveling up and handling their business, always seem to have women chasing them. It's not magic, it's simple psychology. When a man is focused on becoming the best version of himself, his energy changes. He carries himself differently. He becomes more attractive without even trying, and women pick up on that immediately. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how women tend to be more interested in men who seem unavailable? It's not just about playing hard to get. It's because those men have something going on in their lives. They're not sitting by the phone waiting for her to text. They're too busy grinding, building, and improving, and that's exactly what makes them desirable. On the other hand, the guys who make women their entire world always end up being the ones ignored. It's because desperation is unattractive. Neediness is repelling. If a woman senses that you're depending on her attention to feel good about yourself, she's not going to miss you. She's going to see you as just another guy who's too focused on her and not enough on himself. The solution? Shift the focus. Instead of worrying about how to make her miss you, start thinking about how to make your life so fulfilling, so exciting, so magnetic, that she can't help but notice your absence. A man who is constantly improving, setting goals, and creating an amazing life for himself is naturally missed when he's not around. His presence is felt because his energy is powerful. When you make your life your priority, when you stop chasing and start attracting, you don't have to do anything extra to make a woman miss you. She'll feel it on her own, and she won't be able to ignore it. The final strategy to make a woman miss you is to be unpredictable. The biggest mistake men make is being too easy to figure out. If she can predict exactly what you'll say, how you'll react, and what you'll do next, there's no excitement, no tension, and most importantly, no emotional pull that keeps her thinking about you when you're not around. Most men fall into routines without even realizing it. They text at the same time every day. They always respond immediately. They never switch things up. Women don't sit around missing men who are predictable. They miss the men who keep them on their toes, who bring a mix of mystery and excitement that makes every interaction feel fresh. If you're too consistent in the wrong way, always available, always saying yes, always the one initiating, she'll start to take you for granted. This doesn't mean playing mind games or acting like someone you're not. It simply means being dynamic. Some days, give her all your attention. Other days, be too busy to respond. One moment, be charming and flirtatious. Next, be focused and distant. Keep her intrigued. Make her feel the shifts in your energy. This is what keeps a woman emotionally engaged, because she never fully knows what to expect from you. Think about the men women obsess over. They are never the ones who are predictable. They are the ones who challenge them, excite them, and keep them emotionally invested. Women don't miss men who give them a straight, boring path. They miss the ones who take them on a roller coaster, highs, lows, anticipation, and uncertainty. That's what makes a woman crave someone even when he's not around. But here's where most guys go wrong. The moment they feel like they're losing a woman's attention, they try to compensate by being even more predictable. They text more. They become even more available. They try too hard to show her how much they care. And in doing that, they become completely forgettable. Because once a woman figures out that she has you completely, there's nothing left to chase. Nothing left to desire. So if you really want a woman to miss you, you have to create an element of uncertainty. Not in a toxic way, but in a way that makes her feel like she always has to win your attention. She needs to feel that just because she has your interest today, it doesn't mean she can be lazy about it tomorrow. The moment she thinks she has you locked down with no effort, she stops valuing your presence. The truth is, women crave excitement. They crave a little bit of the unknown. They want to wonder about you, to feel a little unsure, to miss your presence because they're never fully certain when they'll have it again. That's what keeps a woman emotionally hooked. That's what makes her think about you even when you're nowhere to be found. Here's something most men refuse to admit. If a woman isn't missing you, it's because you made yourself too easy to forget. It's not about how much effort you put in, how nice you are, or how much attention you give her. In fact, the more available and predictable you are, the less she values your presence. And if she doesn't value your presence, she won't feel your absence. That's the brutal truth. But let's get one thing straight. Making a woman miss you isn't about playing childish games or acting like someone you're not. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally creates desire, a man who doesn't beg for attention, who isn't waiting around for validation, who is so focused on his own path that she can't help but notice when he's not around. The men who leave the biggest impact on women aren't necessarily the most handsome, the richest, or even the most charming. They're the ones who make her feel something she can't find anywhere else. They're the ones who create emotional highs, who pull back at the right moments, who bring an energy that makes them impossible to ignore. So now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a woman miss you like crazy? Or maybe you've been the guy who got taken for granted? Drop your experiences in the comments. I'll be reading and responding. Let's have a real conversation about this, because too many men are still making these mistakes, and if you apply what I just broke down, you'll start seeing a completely different reaction from women, one where they are the ones chasing you,